The vault had not opened in 32 years, not for professors, not for engineers, not for the world-renowned scientists who had flown in from 3 continents just to try, yet on a grey Thursday morning, with rain tapping softly against the glass walls of the research facility, a 17-year-old boy stood in front of it, hands trembling slightly, eyes steady. Everyone in the room believed he was about to fail. The vault was legendary inside the scientific community. Built decades ago by a reclusive inventor named Dr. Halvorson, it was designed as a final test of human logic. The mechanism wasn't powered by keys or passwords. It responded only to patterns, mathematical, mechanical, and behavioral. Many had called it impossible. Arjun Mehta had called it beautiful. He didn't look like a prodigy. His blazer sleeves were slightly too short. His hair refused to stay flat. He came from a small public school where the science lab still had broken microscopes and faded periodic tables, but he had something most of the experts did not: curiosity without ego. When the International Science Consortium announced a public challenge to unlock the vault, Arjun had watched the live stream quietly from his bedroom. He'd noticed something others hadn't. The failures weren't from lack of intelligence, they were from assumption. Now, standing in the facility's chilled white hall, Arjun felt dozens of eyes on him, some skeptical, some amused. Dr. Miriam Clark, the lead physicist overseeing the challenge, folded her arms. She had spent 6 months studying the vault's mechanism and still couldn't decipher its layered logic. "You have one attempt," she reminded him gently. Arjun nodded. He stepped closer. The vault's surface wasn't smooth. Tiny engraved symbols circled its steel face: fractals, prime numbers, ancient geometric patterns. Most had tried to brute force equations into it. Arjun ran his fingers lightly across the engravings: cold metal, raised edges, a faint vibration humming beneath the surface. He closed his eyes. Back home, his mother was probably finishing her morning shift at the hospital cafeteria. She had laughed softly when he told her he'd been invited to attempt the vault. "Just be yourself," she'd said. "You don't need to prove anything." But he did feel the need to prove something, not to the scientist, to himself. He had always been the smart kid, the one teachers expected to ace exams, the one classmates avoided during group projects because he made things too complicated. Genius, they called him, but genius felt lonely. Arjun opened his eyes and looked at the vault differently, not as a puzzle to conquer but as a mind to understand. "What if it's not about solving?" he murmured softly. A few scientists exchanged puzzled glances. He traced the prime numbers etched along the rim. They weren't random, they formed clusters, not by value but by spacing, rhythm. His heart quickened. He stepped back and observed the room's lighting reflecting off the steel surface. The engravings cast tiny shadows, not uniform ones. He remembered something Dr. Halvorson had written in an old archived interview: "The answer is always in the silence between." Arjun inhaled slowly and began pressing the symbols, not in numerical order, but in the pattern of the shadows they cast. A click, barely audible. The room stiffened. Dr. Clark's breath caught. Arjun didn't smile, not yet. He adjusted his sequence, aligning the spacing with the faint vibration he'd felt earlier. It wasn't random, it pulsed every 7 seconds. 7, a prime. He waited for the pulse and pressed the final engraving in the cluster. The vault groaned, not dramatically, not explosively, but undeniably. Metal shifted, internal gears rotated. With a deep, resonant hum, the door opened. For a moment, no one moved. Rain continued tapping against the windows as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But inside that hall, history had shifted. Gasps broke the silence. Someone whispered, "Impossible." Arjun stepped back, stunned by the simplicity of it. He hadn't overpowered the vault, he had listened to it. Inside wasn't gold or secrets of destruction. It held a series of notebooks: Dr. Halvorson's final research on collaborative intelligence. The idea that the greatest breakthroughs come not from dominance, but from understanding. Dr. Clark approached slowly, eyes wide, not with envy, but "How did you see it?" she asked. Arjun hesitated. "I stopped trying to prove I was smarter than it," he admitted. "I just tried to understand what it wanted." In that answer, something shifted among the scientists. For years, they had attacked the vault with equations and forceful logic, competing quietly against one another. They had missed the humility embedded in its design. News spread quickly. Headlines called Arjun a prodigy. Interviews flooded in. Universities extended offers. But the moment that mattered most came later that evening. Arjun sat alone on a bench outside the facility. Rain now softened to a mist. His phone buzzed endlessly with notifications, praise, applause. Yet he felt strangely quiet inside. He realized something important. The vault hadn't tested intelligence, it had tested character. He could have boasted, could have claimed superiority. Instead, he requested that the consortium open the notebooks publicly, allowing students worldwide access to Halvorson's research. Knowledge shouldn't stay locked, he told them. In the weeks that followed, collaborative science programs expanded. Young students from underfunded schools were invited to research internships. Dr. Clark later admitted that the teen had reminded the entire institution why they became scientists in the first place, not for recognition, but for discovery. Years later, when people asked Darjan about the day he unlocked the impossible vault, he rarely described the mechanics, he described the silence, the moment he chose curiosity over ego. Because brilliance without humility is fragile, but humility paired with curiosity is unstoppable. The greatest doors don't open for those who push the hardest, they open for those who understand the rhythm of the lock, and sometimes the real breakthrough isn't unlocking the vault. It's unlocking yourself. If this story inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more powerful cinematic stories that remind us that true genius begins with listening.